right, well, since we have to do the car swap thing, since the Volvo is in the shop, I have to move all of the crap that I put in the Corolla over into the Dodge pickup, because that's what I'm going to be in. The fuel spend on these two rigs is wild. Like, this truck gets 8 miles a gallon. I don't know what this gets, but it's somewhere in the 30s. For the reason that I don't, bum around in the truck a bunch, except for the fall and the spring, and for random trips. I put $30 of fuel, which filled the tank, in this rig like 3 weeks ago, and I'm still driving it with about a third of a tank left. So that's pretty cheap. It's like 10 bucks a week. This pickup's about $100 a week. So wildly different in price. Also, just taped up those XLRs. Those are going to go into inventory. I just like when things are in inventory, well taped, well marked. Makes the brain happy. Got some more inventory. I have like 50, maybe 100. I don't remember. 1/4-inch ends for building some more instrument cable. Got some Ethercon ends to try. Normally, I'm pretty much an exclusively Neutrik guy. But got to tell you, the Ethercons that they make are just annoying to put together. And there's some other brands that are a lot easier. And for small stuff, like, I wouldn't put mission critical things on anything but Neutrik. That's just kind of a rule for me. But I will try some other stuff, just for, small stuff in my own personal rigs. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we get rid of it. All right, I think it's time to go get something to drink. Cannot tell you how much better that fires up after several years of it not being that way. Still running a little bit lean, but we're gonna get that fixed. It is nice just driving an old truck. We're doing some cleanup today in what we call Building 3, which is what that rattling sound is. There's a bunch of rack doors in the truck from a couple of storage unit racks that we have for, just random show stuff. So we need to grab some WD-40 and prep those drawers for storage that we're going to put into them. Drop off some of this inventory at that location and start cleaning it up for some of the events that are coming into that building in July. It's kind of an interesting development at that building. We'll share that at some point in time on the channel, really what Building 3 is. But some of those details are being kind of worked through even now. We're trying to partner with their organization on a couple of things. So it's a work in progress, and we're pretty excited to share what we're going to be able to do in that space if everything goes through, which would be pretty unique and awesome all at the same time. Okay. Well, this is going to be empty, and there's no way that it's not going to make just all kinds of noise. Just get it over with. Nice. That'll raise some questions, I'm sure. All right. Also, for the regular viewer, it's going to be some videos in which I don't talk a lot, which is going to be not how I normally am. I normally, in all honesty, am like talking all the time. And I'm going to try out some videos in which I'm not doing a lot of talking and leaving some other videos where I'm going to explain kind of everything I'm doing. Super ADD, so I kind of go everywhere. I have not got used to this GoPro yet, so I've literally already hammered it like 6 times. You could back all the way up, but why would we do that? There's some folks who just don't know how to drive, and it shows. They suck at it. That's how it shows. Let's see if we can get this old rig started. Right now the batteries are dead because the lights were left on last night from yours truly. There's no buzzer in the bus, and the downside of that is that if you leave them on, there's nothing to scream at you that you've left them on. Sometimes I get so busy with stuff I just forget you know what I have going on. Happens a lot. So these are big motors. All 3 of our buses have DT 466 motors. This 08 bus has a 466. Actually, just like my truck, same series of motor. Pretty much all original. Nothing really crazy added to it. But the other buses, the 2012s, are DT 466Es. And they sound different, they run different. Still good motors. They're not as good as the older 466s, and anyone who either owns or works on 466s knows that. But man, do they need some cranking amps. These batteries are 950 cranking amps each, which is a good amount. So for 3 of those, that's 2850. Alright, let's see what we get there. Probably not enough. Probably not going to be a good amount. It's registering, what, 13? Because our alternator would be charging on the truck. Well, let's give it a shot, see what it does. Nope, not quite enough. I actually did have this bus dead once, and this did jump it. It was just enough. I got 3. That might be enough to help. It might be enough to just throw it over the edge. I just needed to fire. That's all I needed to do. We'll let the alternator handle the rest for 20 minutes or so. Oh, come on. Oh, it was so close. Only got 1 bar on that, so let's do all that we can, you know? Let's just go dumb here. We'll go get this guy, which has probably nothing in it. What do we got? Oh, 4? Would be good to maybe have some like external lugs that you could put a battery charger on. Well, it's on there. Let's see if between the last 2 minutes with the truck and that battery jump pack, if that's enough. 4th time. All right, let's go. Come on. So close. All right, 10 minutes. All right. Well, do we risk going and picking up the wife before we do this? I had 1 hiccup, so it's close. Cables are warm. Okay, we're gonna set them over here, and we'll come back and do this. So I don't want the truck to overheat. It is old. The radiator's original. It's all those things. It's just how it is. Just don't need any other issues, so we'll avoid it. So I really put them inside. Every time someone says, hey, you should get rid of your vehicles, just have one. That sounds wonderful. But I don't know that I'd be able to do my job. I need rigs all the time, all over the place. Yep, look at that, whoop-dee-doo. You know, something we don't have is a name for this van. This is a company van. My parents bought this in '03 when I was 13. I remember the day that we bought it. I remember driving it home. Not me, but parents for sure. And, you know, my parents were never ones to name rigs. Like, they just didn't do that. And, kind of wondering if I should name on that rig over there. All right, back from picking up the wife, and she gets to use that car now. It'll be a week before we even get the parts in for the Volvo, because they're OEM parts. I don't put anything less in cars like that. It's just not worth it. It's 5:40. So we're on a road called Eagle and Fairview, and I work at this church as a full-time job in addition to my company. It's called Capital Church. It's been here since 1994. I've worked here since 2008, 9, as an intern, and eventually a contractor, and then full-time. And we've got a cross street here called Eagle and Fairview. It's the busiest intersection in the state of Idaho, in a very, 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 very fast-growing collection of cities. The Meridian, Boise, Kuna, Nampa, Caldwell, Star areas are just going nuts. We have Amazon here now. Facebook is building a Meta server site in Kuna, literally not that far from here. TDS Telecom just brought in fiber for this area. I mean, the money has been put into this area in aggressive forms. And right here, in the busiest intersection of the state, is this farm. And our church knows the gentleman who owns this land. It is a good chunk of land. It's the envy of all businesses here. And this man has been offered tens of millions of dollars, and he will not sell this land. And eventually that day is going to close. When I came here, none of this existed. All of that was sod farms. I've watched all this change, even since I've been here. And this man plants crops every year, drags irrigation line every year. This is some of the first water that I've seen. And it's just so cool, you know. There's the runoff from the rows and ends up out here and goes down these waterway channels that have been put in. Just so much water that, you know, has to be paid for as a part of all the local farming here. You know, it's just all of this is a hay crop. And last year it was corn. It's kind of fun to watch that grow. That's everyone's favorite here. He does onions. You see alfalfa here. He's already done one cut, which is crazy. They just did it. They just cut it all, let it dry, baled it all, and now they're on their second one for the year. And I parked my buses next to it. All right, that was 5 minutes of rambling. Let's see what we got. Glow plugs are not gonna go. Wow. Said no. All right, let's shove this down here and just see what we get. Maybe we'll get lucky. Give her all of the beans on one go. That's okay. That's not great, but it might be enough. Let's just see what we got. Can we turn it over with 3 things and not blow them all up? It's hardly getting past 12. You would think it would be a little higher. I'm gonna check cables before I go drawing on it. Stuff's clicking again. This may not be the right thing to do. We'll see. right, we're gonna go for it. There she goes. All right. Got lucky. 3 packs. All right. Just gonna let that charge on high idle. We're gonna have to go charge all these again. Why do things have to be hard? All right. Whew, it's hot in here. This bus doesn't have AC. Throw this at 1250. Nice. Oh my goodness. Whew. It is warm. Man, is it warm. All right. We'll let this run for a bit. Get charged back up. This bus is going to be out every week, pretty much through July. Hope wife wants to chat. All right, time to go move the bus back to door 5. Alrighty. Alright, let's see what our tune's like. We're not sitting at 14. Not tune, our charge. Which means the alternator probably isn't charging right now, so it might have got everything back up. Oh yeah. Okay, we'll come back and check this later, just to confirm on that. But for now, double check the lights. We need to add a buzzer to that. Most of those aftermarket buzzers are key actuated, so if the lights are on and there's no key power, then they buzz. As soon as key power or accessory power is on, then they don't. And you just have to wire that in. And there's like a whole bus in there for key actuated power. Okay, off to building 3. Good morning. It is 8 o'clock here in Meridian. You're just getting into the yard for the day. We've got a lot to do. First thing on the list, old familiar bus 4. Most of you probably are thinking that based on the beginning content of this channel, that the buses are a part of our everyday thing. They're not. We just have a Christian school that is doing some summer activities here. That bus normally doesn't leave the yard except for 6 to 7 times a year. And now it's going to be out every week well into August. In my previous video I said July, but it's really now August. So it goes out tomorrow, so I'm prepping it today. Making sure the battery charge held, and then I'll do a quick sweep and mop on it before it leaves so that it looks nice and is ready. Granted, I know that kids are what's primarily going into that bus, and it's gonna get trashed, but regardless, it's gonna leave clean. So I have to put together the trip order for all of our stops. I need to get some other things finished for all of those trips and get those communicated, driver communication done. Need to figure out a fuel program for them to fill the bus up and clean it when it comes back. And then, oh shoot, I left my sound bullet just in here and on. That's good. I do this so much with this. I always forget and then I leave it. So one of the tools in my audio work case, like when I travel, this Pelican goes with me. In it is this sound bullet, and I always forget. Always forget. It's almost like I never not do this. I always forget to take it out. So I have a couple of cables just sitting in here, that of course for charging. So now, because I literally forgot, I'm gonna go throw this in my, just real quick here, in my USB, I don't know what you call them, a dock or something. I'm spacing on the name, but I have one of these, and so I'm just gonna throw this out here. I'm a guy that builds systems, and it's kind of like the, there we go. It's kind of like being, you know, the plumber that's got the leaky faucet, the landscape company that maybe or maybe not has an okay yard. You know those stories? Yeah, that's me. We're repairing this DBX. Well, I thought it was a 260. It's actually a drive rack PA version. This LCD screen is kind of funky, so we tore it apart and ran it yesterday. Everything works when it's apart. It just has issues when it goes back together. So we're gonna try to resolve those today. Get it back in place for this QSC rack that I just put together. Nothing special. We got to build some XLR distro points for that, and then in that 1U space down here in the bottom, we're gonna grab a custom panel from Elite Core, have them print me up one. So we got that to do. Got this mess to clean up. We actually have show production to start for camp this week. I've got some electrical work happening. We're gonna throw this 70-inch TV on the kids' chapel wall. But first, coffee and diesel engines. Wait to start is on, so glow plugs are firing. Well, only seeing like 11 volts. Hopefully she goes. Oh, we're here again. We're gonna have to do a battery change. Oh. We'll just let this high idle. charge. Some other additional part of our setup today is for a memorial for a lady that's been in our church for a very long time. And I remember this lady who passed when I first came here in 2008, 9-ish. This lady was always in the hallways. And I gotta tell you, man, she was always praying. And it was all the time. I don't think I ever saw her not doing that. And she spoke 2 languages, I think, other than some broken-ish English. Her main language would have been Russian or Ukrainian or something like that. And her memorial is today.